Thompson finally finished doing the math. And once a man like Klay Thompson finishes the math, no amount of twerking, no amount of platinum records, no amount of red carpet glamour can pull Klay Thompson back into a relationship that already failed Klay Thompson's spreadsheet. Hey y'all, listen, because what I'm about to break down is not the story TMZ ran, not the story the Daily Mail ran, and definitely not the story your favorite gossip page is running. Every channel is yelling about whether Megan Thee Stallion is too ghetto for Klay Thompson, and every channel is missing the receipt sitting right there in plain sight. So sit down, lock in, and let me walk you through what happened inside the head of Klay Thompson, because once you see this, you cannot unsee this. Let's start with the leak everybody's repeating. According to the Daily Mail, an anonymous insider said Klay Thompson used to complain that Megan Thee Stallion was just too ghetto. Klay Thompson reportedly couldn't stand the way Megan Thee Stallion talked, the way Megan Thee Stallion moved, the energy Megan Thee Stallion brought into rooms Klay Thompson spent years building access to. Now listen, on the surface, that headline does the job. It's a juicy little quote, it travels fast, it gets clicks, and every comment section turns into a courtroom. But I'm not here to repeat headlines. I'm here to translate them. And what Klay Thompson was saying behind closed doors was not "she's ghetto." Klay Thompson was saying something far more devastating, far more permanent, and far more honest. Klay Thompson was saying out loud what every quiet man eventually says when the loud woman stops being entertaining and starts being expensive. Because here's what nobody on this app wants to tell you. Quiet men do not leave loud women because of the noise. Quiet men leave loud women because of the bill. The noise is what attracts a man like Klay Thompson in the first place. Think about it. Klay Thompson is reserved. Klay Thompson is monotone in interviews. Klay Thompson takes naps on the team bus before dropping 37 points in a quarter. Klay Thompson is the human embodiment of low battery saver mode. So when Klay Thompson sees somebody like Megan Thee Stallion, somebody who detonates a room the second Megan Thee Stallion walks in, somebody whose laugh is louder than the music, somebody allergic to whispering, Klay Thompson is not repelled. Klay Thompson is magnetized. Opposites do attract. That part is real. The energy Megan Thee Stallion carries is the exact missing frequency Klay Thompson does not generate. So Klay Thompson borrows it. Klay Thompson rents it. Klay Thompson plugs into it like a charging cable. And that works beautifully. Until it doesn't. Now watch what happens, because this is the part nobody is saying out loud. The moment a quiet man like Klay Thompson plugs into the high voltage current of a woman like Megan Thee Stallion, the relationship runs on a hidden battery, and that battery is novelty. As long as everything Megan Thee Stallion does feels new, feels surprising, feels different from every other woman Klay Thompson has ever dated, Klay Thompson stays charged. Megan Thee Stallion is fun, unpredictable, unfiltered. And for a man whose entire public life has been one carefully filtered press conference after another, unfiltered feels like freedom. It feels like Klay Thompson is finally living, finally outside the box the league put Klay Thompson in, finally tasting a life that does not require Klay Thompson to be polite, professional, and predictable 24 hours a day. But novelty has a half-life. And the half-life is shorter than anybody warns you about. Because at month 3, novelty feels like adventure. At month 6, novelty feels like flavor. At month 9, novelty starts feeling like work. And somewhere around the 1-year mark, novelty feels like noise. Same volume, same speed, same energy, just no longer surprising. And the second a man like Klay Thompson stops being surprised, Klay Thompson starts being audited. Klay Thompson starts running the receipts in Klay Thompson's own head. Klay Thompson opens a private mental spreadsheet, and on one column Klay Thompson writes everything that drew Klay Thompson in, and on the other column Klay Thompson writes everything draining Klay Thompson. And whoever's name sits at the top of that spreadsheet, baby, that person is on borrowed time. That right there is the moment nobody is reporting on. Every channel is focused on whether Megan Thee Stallion is too ghetto. Wrong question. The correct question is, when exactly did Klay Thompson sit down and open up the spreadsheet? Now let me tell you what I think went on that spreadsheet, because I've been watching this storyline since the very first photo dropped of Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion together. On Klay Thompson's pro column, we have a globally recognized superstar, a Houston hot girl who can fill a stadium without Klay Thompson buying a single ticket, a woman whose body has its own gravitational pull, a woman who turned grief into Grammys, a woman who walks into a room and the whole room rearranges itself around her. That's a strong pro column. That's a Hall of Fame pro column. On paper, Klay Thompson hit a home run. But here's the trap. The pro column for somebody like Megan Thee Stallion is loaded with public benefits. Public is the keyword. Stadium energy, red carpet wattage, headline real estate, fan base overlap, optics, vibes, brand halo. And Klay Thompson is a private man dating in public for the first time at this scale. So every public win on that pro column was pulling Klay Thompson further from the private piece Klay Thompson built Klay Thompson's whole career protecting. Every flash of a camera, every paparazzi swarm, Every podcast clip where Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson got rubbed together for content. Every comment section that turned Klay Thompson's private dinners into public commentary. The pros were real, but the pros were public. And Klay Thompson is a private investment. Now flip the page. On Klay Thompson's con column, you start to see the actual numbers, and this is where the story turns. Con number 1. Klay Thompson cannot have a normal disagreement with Megan Thee Stallion. Because Megan Thee Stallion does not do normal disagreements. Megan Thee Stallion is from Houston. Megan Thee Stallion does not express concerns. Megan Thee Stallion confronts, clarifies. Megan Thee Stallion will tell Klay Thompson exactly where Klay Thompson messed up in real time, in full volume, in Megan Thee Stallion's own dialect, with no warning and no diplomatic foreplay. And for a lot of men, that's preferable. Direct communication is a gift. But for Klay Thompson, a man whose entire job for 15 years has been emotional regulation under maximum pressure, emotional regulation in front of 70 million viewers, emotional regulation while Draymond Green is yelling in Klay Thompson's ear, the last thing Klay Thompson wants to come home to is another arena. Klay Thompson wants quiet. And Megan Thee Stallion was never going to be quiet. That was never the deal. Con number 2. Klay Thompson cannot control the narrative once Megan Thee Stallion enters the chat. And athletes at Klay Thompson's level build entire teams of publicists, agents, brand managers, and image consultants to control the narrative. That's why Klay Thompson's interviews sound the same. That's why Klay Thompson's social media feels curated. That's why Klay Thompson moves through the league like a monk. Because control is currency. The second Megan Thee Stallion enters the chat, that currency gets devalued. Because Megan Thee Stallion's narrative is bigger, louder, faster, and 1,000 times more clip-worthy than anything Klay Thompson does off the court. Klay Thompson got swallowed inside Megan Thee Stallion's storyline, and a man like Klay Thompson is not built to be a supporting character in somebody else's biopic. Con number 3. And this is the spicy one. Klay Thompson realized the women Klay Thompson used to date never made Klay Thompson feel small. Megan Thee Stallion's predecessors made Klay Thompson feel chosen, made Klay Thompson feel like the center of gravity. Even when clapping back, those women did it softly, quietly, in a way that let Klay Thompson keep Klay Thompson's crown on. Megan Thee Stallion did not have time for that ceremony. Megan Thee Stallion has her own crown. Megan Thee Stallion was not built to orbit Klay Thompson. Megan Thee Stallion was built to be orbited. So whenever there was friction, Klay Thompson did not feel disrespected. Klay Thompson felt demoted. And no man, not a champion, not a millionaire, not a future Hall of Famer, wants to feel demoted inside his own house. So now you've got a pros column full of public wins and a cons column full of private losses. And the math, baby, the math don't math. That's when the word ghetto shows up. Because ghetto is not a description. Ghetto is an exit code. Ghetto is a man's way of summarizing 12 months of small frustrations into one word he can mutter to his boys at the cookout and have them nod at him in agreement. Ghetto is shorthand. Ghetto is the receipt at the bottom of the spreadsheet. When Klay Thompson allegedly told that anonymous insider Megan Thee Stallion was too ghetto, Klay Thompson was not describing Megan Thee Stallion. Klay Thompson was describing Klay Thompson's own exhaustion. Klay Thompson was admitting, out loud for the first time, that the pros stopped outweighing the cons. Klay Thompson finished the audit. Now here's the part going to make somebody mad in the comments, but somebody has to say it. Megan Thee Stallion did not do anything wrong. Megan Thee Stallion was Megan Thee Stallion from day one. Megan Thee Stallion did not run a bait and switch. Megan Thee Stallion did not show up to the first date in a librarian costume and then reveal a hot girl persona after Klay Thompson signed the lease. Everything Klay Thompson allegedly complained about was pre-installed, factory-loaded, fully advertised, and broadcast to the entire planet years before Klay Thompson slid into Megan Thee Stallion's DMs. The packaging said Houston hot girl, loud, proud, twerk certified, freedom flavored. Klay Thompson opened the box, used the product, posted about the product, then complained the product was exactly what the label promised. That, my friends, is not Megan Thee Stallion's failure. That is a buyer's remorse case study. But buyer's remorse only happens for one reason. The buyer overestimated his own appetite. Klay Thompson thought Klay Thompson wanted noise, spice, the Houston hot girl experience. And for a season, Klay Thompson was right. But underneath that hunger, Klay Thompson is still the same kid from Lake Oswego, the same quiet shooter who falls asleep before games, the same private man who picks the same booth at the same restaurant every Tuesday. Klay Thompson's nervous system was built for stillness. Megan Thee Stallion's nervous system was built for stadiums. There was never going to be a long-term thermostat setting where both Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion were comfortable in the same room. One of them was always going to be sweating. And that's the unique angle nobody wants to talk about. This was never about Ghetto. This was about thermostat compatibility. Klay Thompson and Megan Thee Stallion ran their relationship on two different operating systems, two different default volumes, two different definitions of rest. The breakup wasn't a moral failure. The breakup was a hardware mismatch. And Klay Thompson, being the engineer of Klay Thompson's own life, eventually unplugged. Now, let me get to the part going to hurt for a lot of you to hear. Because I keep seeing women in the comment sections, especially black women, saying things like Klay Thompson knew what Klay Thompson was signing up for. And yes, technically Klay Thompson did. But knowing and surviving are two different sports. A man can know a tornado is coming and still not be prepared for the moment the tornado lifts the roof off the house. Klay Thompson knew Megan Thee Stallion was loud. Klay Thompson did not know Megan Thee Stallion would be loud at 3 in the morning when Klay Thompson had a flight at 6. Klay Thompson knew Megan Thee Stallion would clap back. Klay Thompson did not know Megan Thee Stallion would clap back at Klay Thompson's mother's birthday brunch. Knowing the volume is one thing. Living inside the volume is another entirely. Every man who ever dated a woman with a big personality has confronted this truth privately. The personality you fell in love with from the outside is the same personality you have to absorb from the inside. And the inside is always louder than the outside. So what's the lesson? Because I don't make videos to drag people. Lesson 1. If you are a loud woman dating a quiet man, understand that the very thing that attracted Klay Thompson to Megan Thee Stallion is the same thing that will eventually exhaust Klay Thompson. Your personality is the appetizer and the main course and the dessert all in one plate. Make sure the man you're feeding has the appetite for a meal that big, every single day, for the rest of his life. Lesson 2. If you are a quiet man dating a loud woman, stop romanticizing chaos. Stop pretending spicy is the same as sustainable. Spicy is a vacation. Sustainable is a home address. Pick which one you're building, because you cannot build a house out of fireworks. Lesson 3, and this is the one going to sting the most. The word ghetto gets thrown around like an objective measurement, but in 80% of these celebrity relationships, ghetto is the word a tired man uses when a tired man is too embarrassed to admit a tired man bit off more than a tired man could chew. Klay Thompson didn't lose interest because Megan Thee Stallion was ghetto. Klay Thompson lost interest because Klay Thompson is fundamentally a low-stimulus man who tried to date in the high-stimulus league, and Klay Thompson ran out of battery before the season was over. Now, everybody wants to know, what happens to Megan Thee Stallion next? Because Megan Thee Stallion is single in Miami. Megan Thee Stallion is performing sold-out shows. Megan Thee Stallion's body is more arsenal than anatomy at this point. The timeline keeps saying nobody else will touch Megan Thee Stallion after this. I'm going to disagree with that timeline. Megan Thee Stallion is not undateable. Megan Thee Stallion is highly dateable. Megan Thee Stallion needs to date inside Megan Thee Stallion's own frequency. Megan Thee Stallion does not need a Klay Thompson. Megan Thee Stallion needs somebody whose default volume already matches Megan Thee Stallion's. Megan Thee Stallion needs somebody loud, bold, unapologetic, somebody whose nervous system was wired in the same factory. Because 2 stadium people in the same arena is a concert. 1 stadium person and 1 library person in the same arena is a noise complaint. And before anybody jumps in the comments saying, Tisa, are you defending Klay Thompson?
No.
Klay Thompson made the call to date Megan Thee Stallion in the first place. Klay Thompson volunteered for this. Klay Thompson initiated the trade. Klay Thompson cannot then turn around and complain the trade has Houston in it. That's not how trades work. You either honor the deal, or you don't make the deal. So Klay Thompson does carry some of the bill on this one, and I will not let Klay Thompson get out of here without paying the tax. But the bigger story, the story nobody is telling you, is that 9 times out of 10, when a quiet man and a loud woman break up, the post-breakup narrative gets reduced to one word, and that word is almost always a code word. Ghetto. Crazy. Too much. Wild. Difficult. These are not descriptions. These are exits. These are the words men use when men have already left emotionally and need a permission slip to leave physically. And the public eats those words up like candy because the public would rather argue about whether Megan Thee Stallion is ghetto than admit 2 adults made a relationship choice based on incompatible nervous systems and incomplete self-awareness. That's the boring truth. And boring truths don't trend. So here's what I need every single one of you to take from this. Number 1. Stop calling women ghetto when you mean too much for me personally. Own your size. Own your appetite. Stop using cultural shorthand to dodge personal accountability. Number 2. If you're a public figure dating a public figure, understand you are not dating a person. You are merging 2 PR engines. 2 narratives, 2 fan bases, 2 thermostats. And if those engines were never designed to run on the same fuel, no amount of chemistry is going to save you. Number 3. Watch the people who say, you knew what you were signing up for because that line cuts both ways. Yes, Klay Thompson signed up. But Megan Thee Stallion also signed up. Megan Thee Stallion signed up to date a man whose entire identity is built on calm. Megan Thee Stallion also has to ask whether Megan Thee Stallion's calm tolerance is high enough to live with a man who falls asleep at parties. This was never a villain story. This was a chemistry story. And the chemistry teacher should have caught this before the experiment exploded. Now let me tell you what I think happens next, because I always like to leave you with a prediction. Megan Thee Stallion is about to enter the most productive era of Megan Thee Stallion's entire career. Heartbreak, especially heartbreak attached to a public narrative, is rocket fuel for a real artist. The next Megan Thee Stallion album is going to hit different. The next Megan Thee Stallion visuals are going to hit different. And Klay Thompson, watch. Klay Thompson is going to retreat into Klay Thompson's quiet life and date somebody whose name nobody knows for at least 18 months. That's the pattern. Loud breakup, quiet rebound. Klay Thompson is going to choose somebody who barely posts. Somebody who works in marketing or finance or wellness. Somebody who looks great in a candid photo and even better in silence. And that woman, whoever she is, will be the relationship Klay Thompson rests inside. Because rest is what Klay Thompson was always looking for. Klay Thompson just took a detour through the loudest woman in America to figure that out. So the lesson for the rest of us watching from the sidelines is simple. Know your own volume before you start dating somebody else's volume. Run the math before you sign the lease. And for the love of God, stop using ghetto as a synonym for I overestimated my own bandwidth. Because once you start being honest about what you can handle, you stop blaming the other person for the breakup, and you start making smarter picks the next time around. Anyway, y'all, that's the autopsy. That's the spreadsheet. That's the unspoken locker room confession nobody else was willing to translate for you. Klay Thompson did not leave Megan Thee Stallion because Megan Thee Stallion was ghetto. Klay Thompson left Megan Thee Stallion because Klay Thompson finally finished the math. Drop your verdict in the comments. Tell me who you think ran the spreadsheet first, Klay Thompson or Megan Thee Stallion, because I have a sneaking suspicion Megan Thee Stallion finished the audit a long time before Klay Thompson did. Megan Thee Stallion just had the decency to let Klay Thompson think it was Klay Thompson's idea. Hit that subscribe, ring the bell, and I will see y'all on the next one.
Bye.